Page 7, Minuet. On page 6, they're starting to introduce you to ornaments. There are many, many, many different kinds of ornaments in music. They're little flourishes, extra little notes just stuck in there, kind of add interest or whatever. People have never agreed on how they should be played, and they never will agree. Even the experts don't agree. So no matter what I tell you, somebody out there will disagree. That's okay. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Just go believe what you want to. Anyway, the first one that's covered here on page 6 is called the long appoggiatura. I just call it an appoggiatura, because a short appoggiatura I call something else. The idea with the appoggiatura is you have a note next to the note in the music, either above or below it, and you play that note first, and then you play the note in the music. So you have an extra note, and then it resolves to the note in the music. Look at the first examples on page 6. You have a D, a little bitty D, and then that. The idea is you play the little note is written, in this case an eighth note, one and, that's it, okay? In the second time, you can play that it is a quarter note, one and it depends on what the main note is, the big note, and its interpretation. You don't have to. I could play that last measure, the whole note. I could play that first one as a quarter note if I wanted to. It's interpretation. Now, if there's a feel of 3 in the note, like in the second example, it's a dotted half note or dotted quarter note. Well, in that case, you hang on to the appoggiatura for 2/3 of that, and then play the note. So it's 1 and 2 and. So we hang on to the appoggiatura. In the second with a dotted half note, I'll hang on to the appoggiatura like a half note, and then a quarter note. 1, 2, 3 on that one. A lot of people get those wrong. They'll play those short too. That's a different ornament. This is a long one. This is held out. It's a situation where there's a feeling of three counts or 3 beats or 3 something in it. You'll hold the appoggiatura for 2/3 of that. See, in that second line, they don't give you any time signature. Chances are that's an 3/8 time or something, where it's or 6/8 time or something. Now at the bottom, you get the 1. Yeah, it's half the value. Just play it like quarter notes. So you're saying, well, so why don't they just put in quarter notes? Why not just write it that way? Because in most cases, ornaments are optional. And in most cases, at least back in the 1700s and before, they didn't even put ornaments in the music. It was up to the performer to add them. Bach started writing them in. He was very picky about them. But you would play at the bottom here, just play those as 2 quarter notes. You'll see this kind of thing in a lot of Mozart's music. And the second one, a feeling of 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See, the appoggiatura gets 2/3 of the value. 1, 2, 3. Or, since ornaments are optional, you leave it out. So I could do like so. And when I first learn a piece of music, I leave out all the ornaments. I'll put the ornaments in when I do the articulation. I do that later. And that means sometimes I have to change the fingering for the ornament. We'll see. Let's look at Minuet. It's a page long, treble bass clef, 2 sharps in the key signature. This is in the key of D major. So go ahead and start doing these scales and arpeggios for D major and B minor, because B minor has 2 sharps. 3/4 time, which makes sense. It's a minuet. Minuets are usually in 3/4 time. And I'll make sure I got a fingering now that works. Let me connect the hands. 1, 2, 1, spread out. 3. It's a 3, cross over, do it again. So this seems to work out all right. And the third line, they want this, and they want 4th finger again. No, no, just don't. In the third line, first measure, there's 2 A's. So I'll play the first one with thumb, then I want 2nd finger. Then in the second measure, I gotta do a spread out. It's a chord. It's a D major chord. And then 4. So I'm just changing the fingering for those 2 measures. Here to 2, 3, 2, 1. I can connect the notes. That's okay. And at the end, the last two measures, if you don't want to put the thumb here, you come down 3, 2, 1. I just spread out a little bit. Keeps my hand out here. If you don't mind being up here, that's fine. I don't like it, so I usually do that. The left hand just got the arpeggios, and I don't use third finger there at the beginning. That's a D major arpeggio, and I use fourth finger on that because that's an interval of a third, and when it's an interval of a third, major third or less, and a little finger's involved, I'll use the fourth finger. I'm saving the other fingers for other things, so I use that. This is the fingering I cover in the D major arpeggio. You come up here, it's again fourth finger. Up again, now you can use 3. They're just broken chords. Put the hands together then, and I'll hesitate at first, but that's okay. We're here. Then here, the left hand comes out. I like the fourth finger. See, they give, in the second line, second measure, they give the little example above the staff. Here. Let's show you how the arpeggiatura is played, but I'm leaving that out right now, but I like the fingering. 2, 4, and then 3. So I put the hands together, and then I'll go back over it slowly and get rid of the hesitations. Once those are gone, I'll add in the articulation and the grace the ornaments. This is connected. Lift up. Lift up. Okay, so I'm kind of lifting up for those. The left hand, well, you have a choice. You can connect it. Or you can slightly disconnect them because they're full. That's interpretation. When the notes are next to each other, I usually connect them. It's interpretation. Do it however your teacher tells you to do it. Most of them will probably tell you to just connect them. And then the ornaments, let's talk about those. Second line, second measure. You have the E, but again, it's a feeling of 3 there. So the E is going to get the quarter note, and then the D just gets an eighth note. 1, 2, and 3, and. This, and then the D, those are together. And then at the end of the line, those are even. Yeah. So the second line, I have to play the E twice. Rest. At the end of the third line, again, even quarter notes, like so. And the end, the very last measure, that's a half note on the C sharp, here, there. But again, you can leave the ornaments out. And I do it first, but there, the last 2 measures. And once I do the articulation and ornaments, then I think about the dynamics. It applies to the melody, which is the right hand moderately loud, go up to loud. I would not stay loud. At the end of the line, come back down to moderately loud. Now come down again. So show a slight accent on the first one at the end of the second line. The first note gets the accent because it's a natural accent. Yeah. Because it's not ba-dum, it's ba-dum. Ba-dum, yeah. That's kind of important. Third line, you're soft. Go up to sort of soft. And then soft again in the last line. Then you can come up to sort of moderately loud here. And then come down soft. Yeah. The left hand stays out of the way. Then the speed. It was somewhere in the middle. The polka retard at the end, chances are the composer would not have put that in. That's interpretation. You're at the end, you just naturally slow down. Yeah. If you look at when this composer lived, back in the 1700s, that was the style. They did not put in dynamics and articulation and ornaments and polka retard thingies. They just gave you the notes. And you were supposed to figure out how to interpret it. How do the musicians learn how to interpret the music as part of the music lessons. They don't do that anymore for some reason. They don't seem to teach interpretation in most cases. They just will play what the music says or play it this way. I'm trying to give you some ideas on interpretation. Remember the natural accent? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. Now, feel the natural accents.